I mean, I was represented terribly, I believe, by Kinlan and Shanks, and I don't understand why.
How much did your family pay them?
At least 35,000 overall through up until now, and I believe that was in part due to him also representing Christopher Porco at the same time. I think there were factors there in the fact that at the time I was in jail, at the Albany County Jail, and through my trial, Christopher Porco was a free man. He hadn't been arrested for anything. Yet, every week in, I believe December, January, in that area, there was a grand jury meeting all the time. It was made very public. And I think, part of the deal is that they had, one client was sitting in jail, allegedly confessed to a crime, and another man is a free man, and even though he's the prime suspect, and they were constantly, it's who should we help out more? And I think that played into it. I think it played into it with the assistant district attorney, David Rossi, David Soares, who was in there, even Paul Klein prior to Soares being in there. I think there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and backdoor deals and stuff like that.
Christopher Porco is being held here.
Right.
Have you seen or talked to him?
I believe he's in a protective type
So you've
area.
never seen him?
No, I've never seen him.
Do you think that it's ironic that two guys from the same community would wind up convicted and wind up in the same prison involving a hatchet or axe crime conviction? You ever thought about that?
At first, I tried to think before facts came out. I mean, the facts I got about his case, I got a couple, through my family, from news coverage of his trial and stuff like that, and basically from the 60 Minutes special they did on his case. Prior to that, I really didn't know. I was looking for certain things based on what evidence and stuff like that.
To deal with.
Yeah, it was kind of hard, but originally I thought maybe there was, before I knew anything about any of the investigation into his case. But then as I found out more and more, I realized they're probably not connected in any kind of a way. It's just...
Eric, I want you to tell me how you are handling it, how are you struggling through this? You're a young guy, come from the suburbs, and here you are in a maximum security prison.
Right.
And you say you did not commit this crime. What is this like in your head? How do you go from day to day if you believe that you did not commit this crime?
It's hard. It's like this right here, this interview. This is what I'm focusing on, just to get the truth out, for people to want to know the truth. Because
what is the truth?
The truth is, I had nothing to do with this. The truth is, I believe, based on the evidence, that it was two people, based on Miss Sandra Williams' statement, that at least two people did this to this man. And I believe that the Bethlehem police, I know they set me up from the start. And I just think that nobody knows this stuff. They just take what they hear and they just go with that. They don't look for the truth. They want to be told the truth. It's like once you're in a position, nobody wants to believe you.
What do you think of the justice system now?
I think it's a lie. I think it's in the sense that, what we're always taught is you're innocent until proven guilty. That's the perception. That, I think most people watch TV shows. I mean, I think the media is so big and is so powerful and everything that people watch shows like Law and Order, and they assume that that's what happens. They assume that the police get concrete evidence and that the police always have something. There's always a smoking gun. That when the prosecutor goes into a courtroom, everything he's saying is backed up by evidence that he can point right to and say, see, this is why this is the truth. And that's not what happens. What happens is the prosecutor can make things up, they can lie, they can tell things that they know are false, and if the defense attorneys don't disprove them, people assume that everything they're being told by the prosecutors is the truth, and that, I just think...
Do you think that they all conspired, the police and the district attorney, against you?
I would say parts of that. I would say when they went to my house and they went through my house and they saw things that were in the statement, stuff like this, sitting right out in front of their eyes in my room, yeah, I would think at that point, no doubt about it, that they were doing whatever they could to convict me. It was an election year. Paul Klein, who ended up losing, but something like that as a last-ditch effort to keep his job. And I mean, it goes from the start. I mean, there was no, from what I have, there was no investigation beyond me. They called Mr. Gray's sister after they found out he had been attacked, and she told them my name based on the lies that he had spread to his family and friends. And from that point on, it was a sole focus on me and to get me into the place.
Is it true, though, and I read your statement, that you were somewhat focused on him and the relationship he was having with Miss Domery? You weren't ready to give up Miss Domery?
That was more in the spring months when we were still semi-together, stuff like that. But after the night that she had me come over before he moved in, I had never seen her again. I had never seen him. I only saw him the one time in June, and there was no communication whatsoever between me and Miss Domery, or me and Mr. Gray in any way. But he was telling people all the way through that I was harassing him. He was getting phone calls. He had to, a coworker of his came in and testified that he received a phone call while they were sitting in a car or something, and he told them it was me and stuff like this. It was clearly false because my phone records, which again I don't have.
Which never got into court.